Okay, welcome everyone. This is take two. So if you were around for the first one, Neil and my lovely wife I know were. Thank you for watching me, reading my lips and reading along in silence with me. So anyway, I am Grivante, author of the Z Brothers Zombie Exterminator series. These are my books. Book one in the series, Curse of the Zombie Omelet. Zombie Omelet. Book, that was too soon. Book 2, Zombie School Lockdown. And then Book 3, which comes out November 13th, Halloween Holocaust. So that's my series, The Z Brothers. I'm actually not going to be reading directly from either or any of those books today, though if you're around Saturday evening when I have my author takeover of the Reanimated Writers, I do plan to read from The Z Brothers Volume 3 to share some of the new stuff with all you. So today, I am going to be reading two stories, two very short stories. The first is a story I've been wanting to do a live reading of for quite some time, and it is the story that I submitted for the Reanimated Rumble, and it is called Undead Dates. Here we go. But first, some water. And hopefully everybody can hear me just fine. I am using a fancy piece of software, so I can't actually see your comments quite yet. Subject: rotting flesh, but a big heart! Exclamation point. To Zombeauty. Hi, my name is Grog. I'm a new member here on UndeadDates.com. I came across your profile and have to say you're definitely pushing up more than daisies. I know it shouldn't be all about the physical aspects, but I'm sure you know how hard it is to find someone that isn't missing a body part or has a ghastly visible wound. We might be dead, but we're still vain, right? Huh. I'd love to learn more about you. Maybe how you turned? Check out my profile and write back if you're interested in chatting. Grog. LLB! Exclamation point. Subject: R.E. rotting flesh, but a big heart. To Grog. Hi, thanks for sending such a down-to-earth message. You wouldn't believe how many are nothing more than cheap one-liners and pictures of their junk. Speaking of, the message I received right before yours was just that, a picture of a green, shriveled penis. I mean, come on! I know we're all decaying and stuff, but the least a zombie could do is pretend it's still attached. I'm still shaking my head wondering what he was thinking. As far as how I turned, I'm one of those natural causes, or at least that's what it said on my death certificate. But really, it was complications from surgery. I'd gone in for some elective enhancements, and they gave me too much anesthesia or something like that. I never woke up. Stupid surgeon. He didn't even finish the surgery, so now I have one 3060 and one 36B. I know you were looking for someone intact, but are you okay if I'm a little lopsided? Like everyone, I carry the virus now, so when I died, I turned. It only happened 6 months ago, so I'm still fairly new at being dead and dating. How about you? From your age, it looks like you were alive, dead, before the truce? Zombeauty. LLB! Exclamation point. Subject: stupid surgeon. To Zombeauty. I'm sorry to hear about how you died, stupid surgeon. That's a real tragedy, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I think it might be a blessing for me, smiley face. I'm okay with lopsided. The last woman I dated had been turned when her boyfriend died in his sleep. He woke up and took bites right out of her chest. I had a hard time being intimate with her. All I could think about was her ex, Brian. It's not true what they say about couples that die together. They don't always stay together. Yes, I was turned very early, during the first days of the outbreak, a full 2 years before the truce with the humans. I'm happy to report that despite all that time, my body is still intact, except 7 holes in my chest and 1 in my thigh, but they've been filled in by a mortician. So I look as good as any wartime zombie might. As far as how I got turned, well, when I was among the living, as it were, I was a sergeant at Briggs Air Force Base. You might recall that's where it all started. That's where my platoon was stationed. The day the lab broke containment and let the virus out, we were away on a training exercise. And I'm hoping this is still working because I'm getting an error message from Facebook all of a sudden. So I'm just going to keep trudging along and hope that everybody gets to see this. If not, I'll be doing take 3 without all the fancy stuff. Okay, so we were lucky enough not to get contaminated by the initial outbreak. The rest of the base and most of the town around it was infected in minutes. He who would become our leader was at the base for a benefit concert. A small group of soldiers was able to get him locked in a safe room and radio the brass about what was going on. Well, evidently he was some sort of vaccine. Well, evidently he was some general's daughter's crush or something, so they called us in. There was some sort of vaccine in the lab. They sent us in to get it and use it on Justin. Anyway, we got there, blasted our way through to the lab, found the vaccine, and fought our way to the safe room. As you probably know, the vaccine didn't cure him. He was already infected, and instead of stopping the virus, it just amplified it. It made him smart again and stronger. He turned us all, and then the war began. Are you talking to anyone else on here? Grog, LLB, exclamation point. Subject, R.E., stupid surgeon, to Grog. Giggle, I love your subject line. Thanks for the history lesson. I knew some of it, but I've never talked to anyone that was there at the beginning and who was actually turned by Bieber. How exciting. No, I'm not talking to anyone else just yet. You're the only one kind enough to carry on a conversation. The rest have just been dick pics and show me your brains. Tell me, is Grog your real name? Mine's Jules. And what's your ideal first date? Jules, LLB, exclamation point. Subject, first date adventure? To Zombeauty. Jules, no, Grog is not my real name. It's Greg. But since most of us deaders suffer from muscle atrophy in our throats, it always comes out Grog. So I've just started telling people that's my name. As for my ideal first date, how would you feel about an adventure? Subject, R.E., first date adventure, to Grog. I love adventure. Tell me more. Jules, LLB, exclamation point. Subject, R.E., first date adventure, to Zombeauty. Okay, then I want to take you out for a nice meal, where I'll regale you with stories from the war. Instead of dining at one of our restaurants, we'll sneak over to the human side of town and find that surgeon of yours. We'll dine on an arm or two and finish off with his privates. Then leave him to turn. He won't be able to send pics of his junk to anyone, LOL. What do you think? Waiting nervously for your response. Grog. Subject, R.E., first date adventure, to Grog. Grog, it's a date. Jules. Oh, and long live Bieber. So, anyway, that is the first of the 2 short stories I'm reading called Undead Dates. And again, I hope that everything is still flowing for all of you on the other side. So this next story, it's really short. Sometimes we authors, we get an idea for a story, something that we think's going to fit in, and it just doesn't. So this was something that I started writing for the Z Brothers, and it didn't fit anywhere, so I cut it. And it's kind of like a deleted scene on a DVD, something that you wouldn't normally get to read, but I'm going to read it to you today. Now, this one involves JJ, the brother's badass girlfriend, and her dog Xanadu while they are out for a walk. Now this is Xanadu, and that's how JJ found him in a storage unit sitting there on top of a chest by himself. The storage unit was locked and had been unpaid. If you've ever seen shows like Storage Wars or Storage Hunters, it's very similar to that, except they had to bid on the containers before they were open. So uh, they bid on them blind, and JJ bid on this one and won. And there was Xanadu. And this particular unit had been locked for several months, and nobody quite knows how he could have possibly been alive in there. And so another thing about Xanadu, he has some special powers. One of those is that when his mother throws him into the air and yells his name, a giant disco ball comes out of the sky, lights come from everywhere, and disco music starts to play, and time slows. So those are a couple of Xanadu's awesome little powers, and we're actually gonna this little story delves into another one that he has, and that is that he poops diamonds. And so this story is called Poop Park Diamonds. Come on, boy, JJ tugged on Xanadu's leash. He pulled back, sniffing feverishly at a big rotted stump whose roots caused the sidewalk to heave. Oh, come on, the dog park is right over there. She tugged his leash again, and he moved away from the stump, but crouched immediately into the I'm doing my business now stance. She shook her head, muttering, Of course. She slipped a cigarette from her pack, lit it, and then took a black plastic baggie from the handle of Xanadu's leash. Well, at least with your little surprises, these walks of ours are always pretty profitable. Xanadu finished his business, stepped away from his treasure, turned part way in the other direction, and used his back paws to fling grass in the completely wrong area. Smooth one, Xanny, JJ said, shaking her head and laughing. She bent down, turned the baggie into a glove, and scooped up his waist. Nice! She could see a large, sparkling shape sticking out of the otherwise black poop. She stood up and tied the baggie off in a knot. You are amazing. Let's keep going. We'll skip the park and go for a walk down to the store for some ice cream. What do you think, boy? Xanadu shrugged his shoulders and trotted down the sidewalk, looking back at his mama and wondering what was taking her so long. In the dog park, two women stood talking and ignoring the pacing of the large German shepherd at their feet. When the dog finally grabbed the leash in its teeth and pulled, the tall brunette holding it looked down and scrunched up her face. What is it, boy? He whined at her and turned in a circle. Oh, she said, undid his leash and watched as he rushed off to a nearby corner, spun around, squatted, and proceeded to drop a load that might require a bulldozer to clean up. The woman's face wrinkled and she looked at her friend. Bob's dog is so gross. I am not cleaning that up. The other woman shook her head. I won't let Tim get a dog for that same reason. So disgusting. Let's get out of here as soon as he's done. Her friend nodded, and they both watched in silence until the dog finished his business and ran back to them. The brunette reattached his leash and yanked him to follow. Let's go, Bob Jr. They headed toward the gate that opened to the sidewalk just as JJ and Xanadu were passing by. Hey! A man's voice shouted behind them. They kept walking, their pace quickening. I'm talking to you, ladies, the man's voice called out again. The pair glanced at each other, faces souring. The dog's owner turned to look back at the man. What? She snapped. This is a they poop, you scoop park, the man pointed at the steaming pile the big shepherd had left behind. The woman's face turned redder than a fire hydrant. She bit her lip, looked at her friend, then glared at the man. If God wanted women to pick up dog poop, he'd have made them shit diamonds. To this, JJ burst out laughing, bent down, picked up Xanadu, and gave him a big kiss right on the lips. Don't they know it? So anyway, thank you. That was my little deleted scene from the Z Brothers. And anyway, I appreciate y'all coming out here and being a part of this today. And hopefully you've enjoyed some of the other authors that have done live readings. And know that there are 3 more coming up tomorrow. So make sure and come back for those. And also tomorrow we have a host of awesome authors that are going to be posting book promos, freebies, and things of that nature all day long. So enjoy those. And here is where you can find me. You can find me on Amazon at viewauthor.at/Grivante, Grivante. And do notice the capital A in the middle there. And then lastly, on Facebook at facebook.com/Grivante.